Good evening, non-existent viewers. It's TVB. Tonight's tea is Madam Web, the latest Sony-produced Marvel film starring Dakota Johnson as a titular. Madam Web. Honestly, there's nothing I could say. I know I'm almost a week late to this party. This film, like other films that have come out recently, were released on Valentine's Day, which is on a Wednesday this year instead of a Thursday or a Friday. And I know I'm a little late to this party because I like to wait until Tuesdays to see movies. There's nothing I can say about Madam Web that probably hasn't been said 100 times already by other YouTubers. So I'm gonna do my best to keep this movie review just as bite-sized and straight to the point as humanly possible. The main word I can use to describe Madam Web is who. That's right, it's just who. Who asked for this movie? Who directed this movie? CJ Clark or whatever his name is. Who's that? Who cast this movie? Dakota Johnson having to protect these 3 teenage girls from this completely forgettable villain and his completely forgettable henchman with her completely forgettable coworker character with, his pregnant sister. Who greenlit this movie? Who made the special effects for this film and who edited it? Because the editing and the CGI is so choppy and fake looking. Whose idea was it to put so much Pepsi product placement in this film? Who bought all the cocaine that the writers were snorting while they were writing this? They wrote the script for this film. I feel bad for all the actors and the actresses in Madam Web because I feel like Dakota Johnson was trying to get her best to perform this character, even though the script that she was given was absolute garbage. This film is an hour and 57 minutes long, right? There are some scenes that go by way too fast like this, followed up by scenes that just drag out way longer, and they have to keep jumping around there in New York City, then they're in the woods, then they're in New York City again, and then they go all the way to Peru. Dakota Johnson goes all the way to Peru to, because you guys saw in a trailer, her mom was bitten by a venomous spider and she dies of childbirth or something, and then they go back to New York City, and it's just it just jumps all over the place. Dakota Johnson got her big break with 50 Shades of Grey. I've only seen the first 50 Shades of Grey film, and I hated that movie so much I refused to watch the sequels. For those of you who don't know, 50 Shades of Grey, the novels that those films are based on, started out as a Twilight fan fiction, and if Robert Pattinson can redeem himself after, playing Edward in Twilight after all these years of the Batman and, Lighthouse and Boy and the Heron, I'm still optimistic that Dakota Johnson can redeem herself at some point. This film just ain't it. I don't know if it was meant to be the fault of Morbius or tied into the Venomverse or whatever it is. It's not in the MCU, and I don't even care about the MCU that much anymore. Just, is Madam Web worse than Morbius? Yes, I'm going to say so because Madam Web is super cringy and I feel bad for the actors in this movie, and at the very least, Madam Web is not boring like Morbius is. Madam Web is cringy. Cringy bad movies, in my opinion, are only not as bad as boring bad movies, because when a film is boring you're not engaged at all. But when a film is cringy bad, if it's annoying you with the characters and the writing and the special effects and the direction and the editing and stuff like that, at least you're still engaged on some level with the film's narrative. And when the film comes out on Netflix or streaming services, you can have your friends over and be hey, let's make a game out of this. You cringe, you drink. That you can't really do that with boring bad movies like Morbius. But still, that does not excuse Madam Web from having a 1 out of 9 stars. It's a garbage film. Now, to end this film on a more positive note, I have a very special announcement to make. I am going to be a guest on Daily Rax TV's channel again. He's been doing this series on his channel called Danny Phantom versus the Daleks. Oh my goodness, Nickelodeon and Disney and Cartoon Network, you need to give my boy Daily Rax TV a big budget to do crossovers for your guys' classic cartoons. He's been doing he's a very talented artist. He's been sketching Danny Phantom and teaming up with other your fan favorite cartoons like Kim Possible and Ben 10 and guys like that, fighting these evil robots. I'm going to be voicing a character in his next episode. So please stay tuned for that and tell him that TB9 sent you. I've been a guest on his channel a few times in the past few months since I've moved back here in New Jersey, and I've had him as a guest. You guys might recognize him from my New Year's Eve live stream I did with my friend Eric, as well as my this other video I made back in December. So yeah, please check him out and stay tuned for that episode. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good night and stay beastly.